Hello, good morning. It's 8 o'clock on the start of a Wednesday.
Hump day.
Hump day. Can we all agree that Wednesday is the worst day?
Wednesday's tough.
Wednesdays are the
difficult.
worst.
I think Tuesday might be the worst.
I see you say that.
I don't know what it is about Tuesday. Monday, I'm accepting what the day is.
Yeah.
We can't get around it. Tuesday, I'm like, I feel like I've gone through a lot already and it's only Tuesday. Wednesday, I can see the end is near.
The light is coming through the tunnel.
I've adjusted. I've figured out that I need to go to bed on time. I've gotten 2 workouts in. Hopefully, I feel better. But Wednesday, it does suck. It's not up there.
Oh, it's the worst. Honestly, and I've said this all along, if we could make the work week a 4-day work week and we would do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, wouldn't that be so much better?
Well, what about, I know you like when getting rid of Wednesday, but if you just did
Yes.
Monday through Thursday,
Nope.
and then you had Friday, Saturday, Sunday
I think having that day in the
in
middle,
the middle of the week.
breaks
So
it
it's
up.
like Monday, Tuesday,
Right.
Thursday, Friday.
Exactly. And wouldn't that be great?
I wouldn't mind that.
Should that not be the standard moving forward?
I support it.
Anita, I just accept every day as it is. No point in complaining. Listen, I know.
I wish I was not a complainer. I try not to be a complainer, and I'm like, I'm not negative, but I love complaining. I don't know what it is.
It just gets it off your chest a little bit. You find there
It's
is
venting.
Yeah, but there's also like a power in finding somebody who you can commiserate with. Katie, that's why I have Wednesdays off.
Oh,
Jealous.
that's so smart. I also think like you have to be smart about like who you're venting to. Like you understand and I understand. Like, we understand what each other's going through. When someone else tries to vent to me and say they're tired, I'm like, did you wake up at 2:45? Like, were you at work at 4 a.m.?
Do you know what?
I don't think.
Russ always says, Ed always complains about how tired he is, and no one could be more tired than Ed. And I'm like, well, true.
You're not more tired, I promise.
Like, and he's up early. He wakes up. Russ wakes up at like 4:15, not 4 o'clock. He's not up at 4 o'clock. He's up at like probably 4:15, 4:30. He hangs out for an hour, has a cup of coffee, goes to the gym, then gets ready for work.
It's different than us getting here and like
Hitting the road.
smearing makeup on our face, getting there, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, good morning.
Right.
Trying to get it all done.
Marguerite, I used to take a Wednesday off to break up the week when I was working. Right. Peter, I'm with Ed. Wednesday is like a bridge for the week. Right.
Kimberly says she agrees with me on the Tuesday comment, though. Feels like a long week already when Tuesday's hit.
Seriously. Marguerite says, Lori says, just keep positive thoughts.
We're trying, girl. I'm trying.
Danielle, I'd love a break in the middle of the week, right? And like, wouldn't that also provide some relief for those of us who have children who need childcare? And, then instead of having to do like 3
5
days a
in
week or
row,
5 days a week, yeah, you can limit it. My
Mm.
mom, hi, Jan. I worked Monday, Tuesday, Thursday when I went back to work after maternity leave.
Oof.
Okay, so even
love that.
3 days a week. I mean, it's better than 5, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All the days blend together, Kathy says. I know, it's tough. We should start you off with some positivity this morning. Can we go to the Eagle Cam?
Yay! Okay, I noticed this morning something a little different with our Eagle friends. So normally, obviously, we see mom or dad. We still don't know which one with baby. But the baby has been by himself for a couple of hours now.
So we checked in at 5 o'clock this morning on the Ott Family Eagle Cam. This is out in Warsaw. And what we saw was one of the eagles, mom or dad, unclear which is which at this point, nesting and laying on top of the birds, the babies, and what we believe are the other eggs that are still in the nest. And then at 6 o'clock we come and, this is what we see.
Mom and dad are off shift, leaving the kid at home alone. Latchkey bird.
Seriously, where are mom and dad? Working?
Barb says only one baby. Yeah. From what I can glean from the comments, Barb, this baby is the only one that hatched, and there are 2 more eggs that are still in there that we are waiting for the hatch. But Kim says, look how big they're getting, right?
I know. Do you think this eaglet in particular, was this a preemie?
Maybe. I'm worried about the other ones. It's been a long time.
Right. I don't know, man,
What if
because
they froze? It's cold out there.
it is cold. Oh,
Turn around, buddy. He was looking right at the camera earlier.
Yep.
What was
got a
that?
lich. Got a nibble.
He's definitely hungry.
I also thought that too, and I thought maybe mom and dad might be out searching or scavenging for food.
Could mom and dad be struggling to find food because it's cold?
Also a great point. I
Maybe
hope
the other
not.
animals are hiding away, trying to keep warm.
I mean, but they don't call it eagle eye for nothing. Like,
Yeah, you
they've
gotta be
gotta,
able to.
right? They've probably been able to find something. Even a fish, they've got to find something.
Fish?
I don't know. I
Is
mean,
Warsaw by water?
well, I mean, they could fly.
Oh, yeah, I guess they do have a means of travel.
Yeah. Up to the lake.
Oh.
Cindy says, I love the babies. I want one.
Connie, no.
Why do you say that, Connie? Why is that what you're jumping to here? Why are you going to bring us down, Connie, on a Wednesday?
Really?
What do the comments say, Taylor?
On the thing? I don't know. Let's see. I got it from the description. So the first egg was laid on February 8th and hatched on March 18th. The
Okay.
first egg was the 5th. I don't know how they know which one is which, but
And so, okay, so that one still hasn't hatched yet, and that was
Right.
laid earlier than the one that did
the
hatch.
third egg was laid on the 12th. Interesting. It won't let me go through the comments.
Well, and didn't they say, oh no, that was the falcon, that they sometimes just fall to the ground, they float to the
oh
ground.
my gosh.
Paula says, just tuning in, what happened? Okay, so we have been watching the Eagle Cam now for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
And we had been waiting for the eaglets to hatch. One finally hatched. But, as I was saying a little bit earlier, we were watching this probably about 5 o'clock. It was dark outside still. Mom or dad was on the nest, and now mom and dad are gone. Unclear where they are, but I think baby's hungry.
Oh man. I'm going back to earlier. John, if you go back to 156, you can see when when mom left. Yeah. Yeah, around there.
So that was probably right after we saw this live on TV this morning.
Okay, Connie says there's only a certain period that it takes for them to hatch. They would have hatched by now. That's so sad. Do you really think they died in there?
I hope not. That would be so awful.
Do they get rid of the
Well,
egg?
that was my question too. So, sometimes they have those instincts where it's like, they know something is wrong. They know these eggs aren't going to hatch, or they know that the baby's gone, unfortunately, and maybe they just get rid of it out of the nest. I don't know.
John, fast forward a little bit so we can see the
Look at
mom
it just
leave.
looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Like, what is
Yeah, I
going
want
on
to see
here?
the moment that mom leaves.
Marguerite,
Mhm.
Ed needs to do an investigative report and find out what happened to the other eggs. Yeah, hello. Can you imagine me crawling up into the nest, knocking on the door?
Going to Warsaw. Where are the
Right.
eggs? Is there a baby in there?
Cindy says Connie is so correct.
What? You guys, that makes me so sad.
Maybe were they just not viable?
I don't know. Okay, so this is when mom gets up.
Oh, good morning, little buddy.
Morning, baby.
Look at
Those talons.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeesh.
Okay. Look at that wing. Holy wingspan.
Wow.
Dear Lord. A bird of prey for sure. Lori says maybe she's hunting for food or a break. I know. That's
She
what I'm.
definitely is. Paula says that happens all the time in the chicken world. I don't want them to die.
That I've understood. Up, up, up.
Oh, big stretch. Anita, I don't know if that's mom or dad, girl. I'm just learning. Aw. This
He's
is
like,
so
show
cute.
me what you can do.
I wonder if they are able to see the other eggs at all. Yeah, keep going. I want to see when mom leaves. There's a little bit.
Are they feeding?
No, I think it's just moving stuff around in the nest. See?
Oh, okay. Making it a little bit more comfy for the baby.
And then eventually,
Bye.
see you later.
So what time
Peace
was
out.
that? That was about 6:13 this
6:13.
morning. Okay. So
And the baby's been by himself ever since.
look at him, just looking for mom. Where are you going? Mom? Mom?
Wow.
Mom? Ma!
Well, I am sad now that we think the other ones are not going to make it.
That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. That's really upsetting.
Good morning, Larry. Was able to come aboard, everyone. Have a great day. I'll catch up. More comments to come. Absolutely.
Morning to you.
Grace says, could they have fallen out?
The eggs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Julie says, I have to check on the hawk nest in the stream/field near my house. Home Alone, your dad says, I'm not afraid.
Okay. Do you want to talk
Survival
budget?
Infinite. Yeah, let's do this. So yesterday we told you about how the city of Buffalo has a $70 million budget gap. Holy cow.
That's a lot of money. I mean, like, we know that's a lot of money. I mean, all of us would love $1 million. So can you imagine
70.
70 million in the hole? So initially they were like, all right, let's cut a bunch of things. They get down by $30 million. They got 40 million left to care for. So they got 2 proposals going on that need to be approved on the state level. And then the rest of that money is going to be paid by homeowners.
Right. An 8% property tax hike on top of what has already been instituted. When you consider the fact, though, that taxes really haven't gone up much in the city of Buffalo over the last 20 years, is this making up for lost time? Number one. Number two, how about the back and forth drama between Sean Ryan and Chris Scanlon? Both of these men want to be mayor. Only one will be. Sean Ryan, though, has the Democratic Party endorsement. Chris Scanlon's doing the job.
Right now, he's the acting mayor, and he's been, fairly transparent, right, about the plan here. He's been saying, look, property taxes are probably going to go up. We were handed a pretty crappy situation, and we've got to figure it out. We've got to find a way out of this, and this probably means that your property taxes are going to go up. And he presents this proposal. It's $600 million is the total budget. And then Sean Ryan chimes in and is like, here we go again, another politician working their gimmicks instead of actually planning on how to do better for the city. And then Scanlon claps right back and is like, you're sitting there talking. What are your plans?
Well, and so much of this relies on state issues, right? So Buffalo wants the state to take control essentially over the parking garages, over the parking ramps that we have in the city of Buffalo that are city owned, which, the acting mayor says would create an immediate infusion of cash. That's number one. And then cash on an annual basis. So that would help solve a lot of the issues. On the other hand, he also is saying, so that was one proposal. Then we were talking about the hotel and bed tax going into effect, and that has to be passed by the state as well.
Right.
So Sean Ryan is like, whoa, wait a second. This does not work, and could theoretically vote against Scanlon's proposal in the state. Now, Scanlon says that's BS, Ryan, and is ultimately calling Ryan out because he's voted for other municipalities to get that kind of funding.
And the bed tax and all these things.
But not for Buffalo.
It's interesting to see them. Obviously, they're competing for the role of mayor, but, this relationship could kind of mess things up.
Lori says that's why Brown left. Okay, so now the blame is falling on Byron Brown, right? We are in this situation. Mitch Nowakowski says he's the finance chair. We are in this situation because of Byron Brown. Grace says, wow, but you can't blame the mayor because he came in with a deficit. So now we're talking about Chris Scanlon, the acting mayor, trying to figure out how to get out of this hole that he was left with. And no one really wants to take this job because they know exactly what they're dealing with.
Well, I can only imagine what the headaches were like, and that's to Megan's point. How long does it take them to realize that they're in that much trouble? That's a lot of money. It doesn't happen overnight. They always seem to be reactive and not proactive.
D. Marie Kaz, good morning. Corruption from top down. Ryan is the worst choice because he's pro-criminal, she says. Troy says Democrats, mayors, and so on get stuff done and does things better too. Help me understand what you're trying to say here, Troy. Are you saying that Democrats are the better choice? Because there is a Republican who's running. He did, have interest in becoming the Erie County district attorney, obviously lost to Mike Kane, who was the interim district attorney when John Flynn left. He's now the permanent DA.
Sherry chiming in saying it's one thing to reassess property values and now increase taxes on top of them going up with those reassessments. So, if your property was, at one value and then it was reassessed and now it's up here and now that tax is on that reassessment, it's an interesting crunch of the numbers there. And we looked it up. It's if you have a $150,000 home, it's $11 extra a month.
Okay, but let's put that into perspective. How many homes in the city of Buffalo are actually $150,000?
Not many.
Right, very few.
If you go on Zillow, it's probably all starting at $300,000.
And I would say that there are some properties probably on the east side, the west side, even in South Buffalo,
under,
that are probably about $150,000.
Well, they're probably in disrepair.
And that's the problem. In North Buffalo, maybe you can find a house for maybe $150,000, $175,000, $200,000. But the reality is most houses, thank you, John, are uh, much higher than that. So in theory, you might be paying only $11, but in reality, you're paying a lot more.
So there's a couple houses here for under 200. You got 179. There's 149. Where's that one, John? So that's Amherst. Okay, so within the city of Buffalo, can you like zoom into Buffalo city limits? Okay, cool. So look at what we're talking about. Everything goes right up. So there's
Right.
a 179. There's 349. Oh, there's 149. What street is that? I don't know where that is.
I'm going to say South Buffalo. Let's see if I'm
Okay.
right or wrong.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
It looks like Lovejoy.
Oh, Lovejoy neighborhood. Are these houses? Oh no, these are like plots of land.
Well, and that's the other thing too, right? Those plots
Oh.
of land, you could probably get for about 50 grand.
right. But it's wild. I mean, and then you're taking that $11 a month,
Right.
and then a year, and then you're
It adds up.
probably you're doing a lot more. You're going to be paying more regardless, and that's what Scalen's been saying since the beginning. But also, I mean, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt the wallet when we're already.
you.
How often we're sitting here talking about how much more you're paying?
So Grace says they need to go after these people who don't pay their taxes and that owe the city money. Mark says Buffalo didn't reassess for over 15 to 20 years during Brown's time as mayor. Kathy says there are more 150,000 homes than you think. So the stock is low, period.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now, even though it might be listed at $150,000, you know, if you're buying a house at $150,000, chances are there's going to be a bidding war. It's going to go up way more than that. But if your
The
home
odds
is,
that you get a home, the home that you want for 150, that's
Right.
slim.
Kathy says how many of them haven't paid their taxes. Mary says they still have to do something about the homes that are vacant.
And
Great
those
point.
lots, yeah.
Grace says Brown talked a good talk, but never completed the walk.
So here we are, 2025, talking about this budget. And it has been like headline news, a big situation because it impacts so many people who live in the city. And
Right.
it is, I think, going to be huge for Scanlon and his bid for mayor and how that all goes forward. And I don't know. There's got to be a lot of uncertainty.
But then when you talk about the alternative here, about not raising taxes,
Mhm.
then we lose services. We lose things that I would think a lot of people find important.
We're talking about police and fire.
We're
I
talking
mean,
garbage. We're talking recycling, things that are like quality of life issues
Right.
too.
So if you're not getting that tax increase, the money's got to come from somewhere.
Right. Connie says, didn't we know we had a deficit last year and the year before? Why is it taking now 3 years? Why is it taking now 3 years for this to be addressed? I don't know the answer.
I
You
mean,
can
the
read
budget
through
is
the
due.
lines.
The
right.
budget has to come through, but I think if we look at other budget plans, and I think if you look through it over the years, it would be interesting to read through.
Though Howard has an interesting point. I mean, he says acting equals pretend. So are you talking about the mayor at this point? Are you talking about Scanlon as kind of just like the pretend mayor? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, acting mayor. I see.
My mom mentioning this is why we moved from Long Island. Taxes were prohibitive. Right. Some taxes on Long Island are higher than some of the, for like a middle income house, like a median income house, are higher on Long Island than they are in some of the nicer villages and suburbs here. Like Orchard Park, East Aurora,
Oh, wow.
taxes are super high. Village of Hamburg. They're kind of equal to that, if not more, on Long Island.
Wow.
Right?
Man.
Anita says, my budget is a daily challenge. Why isn't the same for everywhere? Kelly says, what about the new developments? Will they not get more income from them?
I think that influx of cash, like for the parking proposal, I mean, first of all, that all has to get passed. You have to hope that the state says yes in order to do those things. But then they want to be able to sustain that going forward. So they get a big influx of money
Sure.
at first, and hopefully it keeps paying for the city. But I think they need as much money as they can get.
Kathy says Brown hid stuff and Scanlon is very transparent. But to that point, Howard says, yes, Scanlon is just kind of like the pretend guy at this point.
He's the one in the spot right now.
Howard says, I can act as a surgeon. However, in reality, I am not. Though, Noreen, good morning to you. Appreciate your comment here. It is what it is. He's trying to keep the city running.
It's not a job that I would want to do. It's not something that I would want to try. I would not want to be in those budget meetings and waiting for approval and having to talk to this, that, and the third and figure everything out. But you know what? As people who live in the city,
right,
I need to know what's going on. And it is interesting to find out, how did we get here?
Well, and look, what happens in Buffalo has a direct impact on other suburbs as well. You might not live in the city of Buffalo, but how often are you coming into the city of Buffalo to go to Shays or to go see the BPO at Kleinhans or to go at any of the art galleries that are around or
Sabres games?
Right, Sabres games, Taste of Buffalo, the Allentown Art Festival is coming up. All of these things draw people in from outside of the city of Buffalo, hopefully to boost the economy of the city of Buffalo. But in reality, now, if you get a parking ticket or something, you're going to be paying a lot more.
Well, and then those business owners are going to be feeling the pinch too. We talked to the owner of Shopcraft, that's on Elmwood, and she's like, this is going to be rough for me. I'm already paying a lot. I'm already dealing with trying not to raise my prices for my customers, and now I have to deal with this as well. So if you live in Buffalo and have a small business in Buffalo, I can only imagine you're panicking.
And that's kind of what Megan is saying. I feel bad for the people living in Buffalo if their taxes go up with short notice and people are already struggling. That'll be such a burden. And Scanlon has pretty much said he acknowledges that and really would prefer not to raise taxes. But look, I mean, taxes have not been raised in the city of Buffalo for so long. Mark says, privatize some departments, see if it saves money. What department, Mark, would you privatize? If you, because really we're already kind of contracting, like in some cases with the Department of Public Works, we have private contractors coming in to plow in some cases.
We have people who put the lines on the street, that paint the lines on the street, that's private contractors.
We have modern disposal coming in and taking care of the garbage in some cases. So I wonder what services you might want to prioritize or what departments you would suggest kind of.
He was saying trash, like the trash removal.
Interesting. Grace says, what about the monies that were lent to these businesses that they now owe to the city? Are you talking about Braemiller in particular? Like, what are you actually hinting at here, Grace?
Like businesses that have gotten loans.
And we know, what was the Buffalo Urban Renewal Authority or whatever it's called, Bura, isn't necessarily going after the owner of Braemiller's for that money to be returned in that loan. Ken says state budget way more important than the city. Both are a dumpster fire.
State budget was due last week on Tuesday. Here we are the following Wednesday, but we know that these things usually, the can gets kicked a while.
Right.
Last year, the budget was passed, I think, April 20th.
Still nothing to report this morning. Let's talk about this too. The idea that so many of us are driving nowadays distracted.
This is a tough conversation to have because it requires us to be honest with ourselves,
one another,
and with each other. So the numbers say that we are, pretty much all of us are doing this. 93% of us are texting and driving or emailing and driving, just driving distracted, using one of these while you're behind the wheel. And a lot of us do it. Bless you. And I think it takes talking about it maybe for it to get better and having this conversation, right? No one wants to say, bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
No one wants to say, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing the bad thing. But Anita is willing to admit it. We all drive distracted.
So 93% of these people recognize that they are distracted.
But are not doing anything about it.
Right.
It's tough.
27% of drivers say that they've sent a text or an email to somebody while they were driving. And then 37% admit to reading a text or an email behind the wheel. I have so many thoughts about this. Because on one hand, it's like we live in a connected society. On the other hand, like we've got these really amazing technological advances when it comes to like Android CarPlay or Apple AirPlay or whatever it's called.
You can ask your phone to do anything.
Right.
You can ask your car to tell your phone to do something. We're like living in the future here. But so many of us are still tethered to that device instead of using the tools at our disposal to help us out. Some people earlier in the morning said they just used Siri to say, hey, send that text or do that. Like the talk to text kind of thing. Do you do that?
I do in the car. And you know what I love? Having, an alert pop up on my dashboard, basically on that, the monitor that's in the middle in the center console. And it says, new message from, and it's like Katie Morse, Taylor Epps, whatever. And then you can just click it and it plays it for you. And it's like, do you want to respond? And you just have to do it with your voice. So you don't have to even think about it, you know, and you know, texting, doing the thumb thing while you're behind the wheel.
Driving, using one hand, using two hands, driving with your knees, whatever you're doing. Lori, good morning. Texting is generational. I grew up learning to watch the road. I can't break that habit.
That's great. Jeanette, I prefer to focus on the road. My phone is always in my purse and it stays there unless I'm using it for GPS. I just don't trust myself, so I don't do it. See, and that's a great point.
Yeah.
Peter says I did a public speaking project on distracted walking and related to distracted driving. Some parts of the country, it's illegal to walk and use a device. Which is interesting too, because how many times have we seen those videos, especially on Instagram, where like somebody's texting and they fall in the pond,
right, and they don't know what's going on.
Fall in the fountain.
Okay, Howard has what I was talking about this morning. It's like the Drive Safe app with State Farm. So there's a monitor device in his car to reduce car insurance by 30%. I have the same exact thing, Howard. It knows if I speed, brake hard, or have cell phone use because it's connected to your phone through the app. So every time you turn your phone on or put it in your hand or it lights up, it's tracking that. And the better you drive, the more money you get off of your car insurance. Honestly, I don't mind doing it for the savings, and it makes me honest about driving.
Okay,
However, I
that's
can
fair.
use the vehicle Android interaction and hear text or call somebody by voice command.
My mom says, but even talk to text is distracting.
It is, and it does take a while because then you got to wait for Siri to be like, oh, do you want to send that? Oh, my Siri is a British man, by the way.
Oh, really?
Do you want to send that message? And I'm like, yes, Siri.
But the cool thing, so this new Android, excuse me, I would never have an Android.
Drag them.
Right. Sorry. I don't want a green bubble. No offense to the green bubbles out there. But the cool thing about this phone in particular is that you can literally use Siri for everything. And I'm pretty sure you could do that with all phones. But, you know, like I could put my phone down here. So watch this. I'm not even going to hold it. It's going to be in lock. And I'm going to, hey, Siri, call Mom's cell. And so, like, that's what I do in the morning when I'm on my way home from work. Let's see if she answers. She's on second.
We know
thought.
she's here.
I know. No green bubbles, Anita says. Exactly. See? Super easy.
Boom. And you can do that. You're driving.
Okay, but here's the other thing is that... Just give me... Hello? 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 Oh, wow. She's actually nice when she answered the phone. I was going to say that when I call you on the way home, you kind of fill the air. And I feel like that's not distracting. I'm still watching the road.
Yeah, but you're not concentrating 100%.
You don't think?
Oh, definitely not.
I do. I think I'm more focused on the road when I'm talking than when I'm not talking.
I kind of zone out. Sometimes I'll be meaning to go to the store and I'm on the phone and I accidentally drive home because I'm really not focused.
What say you, Jan?
I say that talking on the phone is distracting. I did it all the time when I drove home from work. And you need to focus on the road, especially you, Edward.
Okay. Thanks, Mom. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye, Jan.
Bye.
Julie agrees with your mom, safety first. And look what you did.
Sorry, everyone.
That is so funny.
Oh, my God. Whoops. Kathy says the same thing. Oh, that's hysterical.
Hey, everyone call your mom today. That's your reminder. If
Seriously.
you didn't call your mom and you still have the ability to call your mom, call her today and check in.
Paula. Hi, Paula. Talk to text is convenient when Siri plays nice. She needs to work on her diction. No kidding. Megan, for all the moms or parents, I don't want some of my texts read in the car when my son is there. Oh, great point.
Yeah, you got to wait for those. I don't know. I don't love talk to text. I feel like something gets wrong and then it's taking forever and then I'm more distracted and I'm like, what did they say? Let me figure it out. And I know that I shouldn't and I try not to, but that's why I call. I'm just like, let me get on the phone. Let me call Nana. Let me call my dad or my mom on the way home. And then I'm just like, okay, good. And then we're having the conversation. I'm paying attention, using two hands, and then we're good to go.
What if we said, like Howard says, hey, Google?
Or just for fun, Alexa,
Right.
just for the rest of you.
This is what I do. Hey, Google, play Last Night's Mascara by Griff everywhere.
Oh my gosh, that's your song. You love Griff.
Oh, I love her.
Mark says even years ago, the distracted driving was when we changed the radio stations. Now we have not only radio, you might have Apple CarPlay or Google CarPlay. You have that entire big center console with the screen. You're worried about GPS telling you where to go. There's a lot going on in the car.
Hey, Google, I'm home. See if anything happened. I would love to know.
Is there a difference between talking on the phone while driving and like singing along with the radio and driving?
Great point.
That's how I see it.
And I like that.
Oh, I'm doing full musicals. I'm doing a full performance in the car.
Thank you. Like I'm the one performing.
I'm acting it out. I'm like, doing this and that.
I'm Celine Dion.
That's my distraction is me on center stage when I should be driving in the center lane.
We got to get the show on the road. Great conversation today.
Oh my God, it's time already? Oh my gosh, time flew this morning.
That's what happens when you're having fun.
Oh man.
Have a great day.
See you guys tomorrow.